recommended to the board, and it was really adopted, that if the Sacramento community could produce a site, a construction team, a strong, financially strong ownership group, and the kind of support by the city and the region that the Mayor Johnson has galvanized, then the appropriate outcome was to keep the team in Sacramento, and that's what they did.
That's NBA Commissioner David Stern following a vote from league owners favoring keeping the Kings in Sacramento, meaning that 22-8 vote means the league will also possibly reject the Kings' sale to a Seattle group led by investor Chris Hansen. We are joined by Mark Stein with more insight on this story. And Mark, explain to us why it matters to league owners where the Kings ultimately end up.
Well, I think it actually matters as much to David Stern in the last, we're under a year now left in his ownership tenure. I think he's been working very closely with Vivek Randive, who's heading the Sacramento group. When Sacramento started stepping up in the way that it did, David Stern really supported the idea of the team staying, and kind of the mantra at the press conference afterward was the incumbents had the advantage this time. And when Sacramento stepped up and basically did everything they could to match this mammoth offer that came from Seattle, that's what really kept the team in Sacramento.
Mark, this, as you mentioned, this story has had plenty of twists and turns, whether it be Sacramento or Seattle, both cities feeling that they had the lead in keeping the franchise or getting the franchise. What is the ultimate objective of the Maloofs in this proposed sale?
Well, the sale is effectively ended now. The vote today was specifically on relocation, and the 30 teams, the vote was 22-8, as you mentioned. So relocation to Seattle has been rejected. That effectively, though, kills the sale agreement. George Maloof acknowledged that after as well. David Stern said so, that basically that sale agreement is not going to be executed. So the issue now is, can the Maloofs be convinced to sell the team to the group led by Ranadive? And to this point, kind of the sense around the league has been that the Maloofs didn't want to sell to the Ranadive group, but David Stern has expressed confidence that they will get the Maloofs to a place where they are comfortable selling the team to them. NBA bylaws say that the Maloofs have the right to keep the team. They're not obligated to sell. Really, the only thing that's assured now is that the Kings aren't going anywhere. They're staying in Sacramento. But that's still a pretty significant hurdle that has to be cleared, a sale agreement between the Ranadive group and the Maloofs.
What are the issues that the Maloofs have with this Ranadive's group?
Really, I think it's that they've wanted to keep Chris Hansen involved in some way. Chris Hansen led the Seattle group, put together a massive offer that was originally valued at $525 million, raised to $625 million in the last week. And, the Maloofs have wanted to keep them involved. It doesn't seem like that's something that league owners would approve at this point, because they know that Chris Hansen wants this team in Seattle. So even having Chris Hansen as part of this as some sort of minority owner seems to be a long shot. And really, it's just an issue of the Maloofs don't want to be told who they have to sell to, and no NBA owner wants to be told who they have to sell to. But basically, that's what's happening here.
Right.
That the support that the league owners have shown for the Sacramento group has really been assembled by Mayor Kevin Johnson. If they don't sell to that group, I don't know who the Maloofs could sell to that would be approved at this point. So they really don't have a lot of options.
Mark, why does the league back Sacramento this time and not Seattle the last time?
No, that's the question that heartbroken Sonics fans are asking themselves, and that question was posed to David Stern in a bunch of different ways, and it is a valid question that at this point doesn't really have a firm answer. Sonics fans are going to be even more enraged when they hear that incumbency was the difference in this case, when incumbency was not the difference maker in 2008 when the Sonics ended up moving to Oklahoma City. So it's a bitter pill to swallow for Seattle fans, no question. And that's one of the reasons that this has been so difficult and so drawn out is because you have two really worthy cities that, frankly, everyone in the league wants both of these cities in the league. Nobody wants to see Seattle excluded at this point. Adam Silver, who's scheduled to replace David Stern as commissioner in February 2014, he said, we still intend to be back in Seattle in the near future, but obviously there's no guarantee of when that's going to happen. At this point, the appetite for expansion is not really there among NBA owners, so there will have to be another team that materializes that needs to relocate for Seattle to get a team. So it's complicated. You have to wonder what kind of appetite Seattle folks are going to have to go down this road again when now they've been heartbroken twice.
He's Mark Stein. Mark, thanks for the insight.
You got it.
You, of course, can read more about this complicated story right here on ESPN.com. With the latest ESPN headlines, I'm Jim Basquill.
Tired of losing your eBay auctions to the highest bidder? Auto bid them now! Get to YouBidder.com! Bid at the last second and say, Hasta la vista, bidding wars! Come to YouBidder.com if you want to win. Spread the word! Spread the word!